Hi there, Dave here with the first of two videos about our parking structure application. And I'm going to go ahead and run it first and show you how it works, and then we'll talk about it. So there we go. It starts off with asking us what we want to do. And we can see from the documentation up here that the application keeps track of cars in parking spaces in a parking structure. So we should be able to display the cars. Well, let's start with displaying the cars. Let's see if we have anybody in there. Nobody in there yet. So looks like 2 floors were built and 3 spaces for each floor. So we have a 2-dimensional array, which is 2 by 3, a total of 6 elements. And so we now can see the contents of all of those elements. And so let's go ahead and display all the open spaces, which should be the same. So if we do a 2, we see, yep, all the spaces are open. So now let's go ahead and add Dave, and we'll do number 3. And so it says add to name. Okay, so Dave and comma and the floor and the space. And there we go. And it says, yep, Dave was added to that floor. Let's go ahead and add somebody else. Let's add Mary, and let's put her in a space. Let's try to put her in the same space Dave is. And so we can see that if we try to do this, it says Dave's already added. So we can't do that. So Mary has not been added. Let's put her in the space right next to Dave, up in the number space 1 on the same floor. So let's go and we'll put in Mary. And this time we're going to put her in 1, 1. And yep, looks like she is. And so if we go to display who's where, we see, yeah, there's Mary and Dave. And sure enough, if we do our number 2 again, we see that, yep, there's only 4 spaces left because there's 2 occupied. Now let's test our last function, which is to remove a car. So we can see that if you add a car, if there's already a car there, you can't add it. There's an error. Let's remove a car. What about if we try to remove a car that isn't there? Let's see that. Let's go for... all we have to do is to put in the name. So it looks like each name for each slot needs to be different. So Mary 1 and Mary 2, if it's the same person with 2 cars in the lot, I don't know. We haven't talked about all those things. So let's remove Bill. Bill's not there. And sure enough, it says Bill's not there. And so now let's go ahead and remove Mary. So we're going to do 4, and we're going to remove Mary. And sure enough, it says Mary was removed. And if we do a display, we sure enough see that Mary has been removed. So we have an application which is pretty good. Thing is that what happens if we have more floors or more spaces? Well, this application is scalable. And so if we come take a look at the beginning code here, we see that the number of floors, which was 2, was passed in main, as was the number of floors, the number of spaces on each one of those floors. And so when we initialize the garage, after we define the floors, so garage is made up of floors. We initialize the garage by passing in all of its floors. Well, we just pass in the array floors, and init garage builds the floors and builds each space in the floor. And so we're going to talk about how that works and the rest of the menu and everything else in the next video. So once again, the purpose of this video is just to see how it works so that when we go to look at the code will make sense. Take care.